Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us his truth and who rule well. Peace, love, salutations, and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. Back again with another one through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. The water Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai for putting it in my spirit to do another lesson. And hopefully it's edifying. This have been by far the worst captivity that we have had to endure. Looking back on the things that have happened unto our people and the things that Esau Edom has thought that they have thought that they have gotten away with, up until this point, but you haven't. The Most High Heavenly Father have beheld everything that you have done unto his people. Although he used you as a punishing instrument or a whipping stick to whip them because of their sins and their iniquity, you're still not going to go guiltless. And all of your bloody wars that you have waged against our people, devouring them, spoiling them, violently taking away their property, which is looting, you're going to be paid back for all of these things. And you're going to be thrown down with violence, as the scriptures say. And this is speaking of the great whore, which is Babylon, the place of confusion, but better known today as America. The Most High Heavenly Father is going to throw you down, and we're going to rejoice over your destruction. We're going to rejoice over the judgment that is coming upon you, as it states within Revelation 18 and 20. Rejoice over her, thou heavens, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh hath avenged you on her. And what does the word avenge mean within the scriptures? The word avenge is krima, which puts you in the mind of karma. Why? Because you are going to reap what you have sown. And within this place, you have sown bloody massacres. You have condemned our people. You have destroyed them. You have beat them. You have lynched them. You have burned them. You have lynched and burned men, and cut off their testicles and put it in their mouth and did all kind of horrific things. And to think that you're going to go unpunished for this? The word therefore for krima, in a forensic sense, the sentence of a judge, the punishment with which one is sentenced, condemnatory sentence, penal judgment sentence, a matter to be judicially decided, a lawsuit, a case in court. And within Esau's court system, even within some states, they still maintain and hold the death penalty. So if someone put someone to death or murdered them, the punishment and the penalty would be that person that committed that crime would be held guilty to the maximum punishment of being put to death himself. And this is how the Most High Heavenly Father views this land and you Edomites that are within this land. You have shed the blood of the children of Israel within this land. So therefore the Most High Heavenly Father avenging us upon you is going to do the same to this place. He's going to throw this place down with violence. Verse 21, and the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman or whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all all nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. So this land is full of the blood of the children of Israel. And you had Spurs where you crucially devoured our people. All right, and such, there's certain events and times that have their own nicknames. For an example, there was an article from the 28th that was published by RT, and it says lynchings, stoning, and burnings, the 1919 Red Summer race riots that America and Britain want you to forget about, which echo today. And that's the truth. All right, they want you to forget about these times, but the scriptures say that there shall be shameful spewing upon your glory. Scriptures also mention this, Isaiah 47:2. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the legs, uncover the thigh, and pass over the river. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen, and I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord said that your nakedness shall be uncovered. Your nakedness is all of the things that you have done, all right, within the world and unto the children of Israel, that you tried to sweep under the rug and that you tried to hide by way of putting a covering cast out there, which your covering cast is your lives. But the scriptures also says, it's Isaiah 25:7. It says, and he will destroy in the mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So the veil that is spread is those lies which you are hiding behind, are the curtain of lies that you are hiding behind. But those curtains are being pulled back, and you're being revealed as the son of perdition. All right, you Edomites are being revealed as the son of perdition, all right, which go forth into destruction. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. The brightness of his coming being Yahweh Shai, man, and the angels. And you Edomites are being consumed. You're being beat with the mouthpiece of Yahweh by Shemiah Shai, which is the holy prophets that are exposing you and bringing to remembrance all of your wickedness and all of the things that you have done. And Yahweh by Shemiah Shai is also making the tongue of your own to fall upon yourselves. So you can try to make, these shameful things that you have done unto our people, all right, get erased from the history books, all right, but they're going to be constantly brought back to remembrance. In 1919, hundreds of people were murdered in race riots across the U.S. and U.K. Men, women, and children were butchered. So why is it a footnote? Why is it a footnote in history? Because the media and governments don't want you to know they reacted. All right. Warning: the following article contains images that may be disturbing to some readers. All right, because they're showing all kind of, images within this article in regards to, so-called white people rioting and looting. All right, because not only were they terrorizing these Jakes, all right, not only were they, killing them and hanging them, but as these Jakes fled for their lives, all right, because Jake around this time, they were doing good. You had Jake that were going to the service, that were coming out, all right, doing good. You had Jake that were beginning to thrive. All right, Jake had a sense of wealth. They had some money. But these Edomites were doing bad. So therefore, they were going into Jake's houses. They were spoiling their goods. All right, they were taking from them. They were violently taking property that does not belong to them. And these kind of things within the history, Esau is embarrassed about them. So therefore, he doesn't want you to bring these things back to knowledge. All right. Remember when we thought that 2020 was going to be the year of coronavirus? We thought 2020 was going to be exactly what it is, the year of prophecy, because that's what Apostle Tahar coined it as. Then along came the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests violent unrest, clashes between police, the far right, and anti-fascists, COVID-19 is going to have to share a top billing. And what is that top billing? All right, because they like to bring up, things that are happening today and to compare it to things that happened in the past, such as them comparing the coronavirus to the swine flu pandemic. All right, well, what about these protests? All right, what about these killings of unarmed, innocent Jakes? All right, which they're not completely innocent in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but according to Esau's law structure, all right, they're unarmed, they're not fighting back, all right, they don't have any weapons. So according to your law, they would be considered innocent. Remember too how everyone compared the virus to the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, 1919, and yet few people compare the protests and violence to another event from that time, Red Summer. And the name Red Summer comes from all of the bloody butcheries that were happened to Jake, all right, in Britain and in America. That's because bloody and shameful, and look, it uses the word shameful, right? Few months in 1919 aren't that kind of history that country wants to teach their kids. And here it is, your kids don't completely understand why they're being reproached for their father's sake, man. All right, but they're being reproached. All of your shame and your reproach is coming upon your children, the shame of your forefathers. Red Summer saw hundreds of people killed in a series of race riots across the U.S. Most deaths were white on black, including people being lynched, stoned to death, and burned at the stake. But it also was the first time the black population, which are Israelites, had resisted the violence, both peacefully and with force. And while such medieval savagery chills the blood and the levels of cruelty astound a 21st century sensibility, there were the parallels with 2020. So what fueled it, and why has it been brushed under the carpet? The U.S. at the time was a deeply racially divided country led by President Woodrow Wilson, a supporter of the Ku Klux Klan who was against black suffrage and actually resegregated elements of American society. White-led race riots and lynchings were commonplace from 1889 to 1918, from post-slavery, all right? Because after slavery, they didn't have to protect their property anymore. So there were more slave lynchings and brutal slave whippings and beatings and burnings, all right, to the point of their bodies being charred, all right, post-slavery. So that's when these lynchings really increased. More than 3,000 were lynched, 2,472 on whom were black men and 50 black women, which they don't have an accurate number, all right, to go along with the lynchings that were done around this time. All right, trust and believe that there were way more than this, but they're trying to save face because of the things that they have done are very shameful, and they act as if they're confused to the reason that they're receiving the reproach and the backlash from so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Black people, Israelite people, despite emancipation 57 years earlier, which the word emancipate means to transfer, had far fewer rights than white people. But what lit the touch paper for the bloodshed in 1919, and what made it significant, was the return of soldiers from World War I. So you had soldiers returning from World War I, and when they were returned, they were doing better than Edomites. They were doing way better than Edomites, man. All right, and these Edomites were jealous, and then they also felt as if, due to the fact that these soldiers were able to fight within World War I, All right, that will give them a sense of, being noble. All right, not being under the supremacy of the so-called white man. All right, what the so-called white man were considered being uppity niggas. All right, and the so-called white man hated that. And then not only, hey, Jake was over there in World War I getting down, bro. While these Edomites were afraid, going through things such as shell shock, because really, when it comes down to these other nations, they're not built for that. All right, our people are very strong-minded people. But anyways, reading on, it says the soldiers, both white and black, were demobilized at the time of already rising racial tensions and economic difficulty. They were trained to fight, and in many cases were suffering from shell shock, nowadays known as PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Violence flared easily. White servicemen jumped on fabricated rumors of white women being assaulted by Negro fiends, rumors sensationalized by the press, and went on random spree of assault and murder. The Washington Post, that famously liberal rag, even ran a front page story organizing white servicemen together a certain location so that they could attack black people in the city en masse. The white servicemen had also come home to cities with few available jobs and homes. Why? Because while they were away at work, guess who got their jobs? I mean, while they were away at war, guess who got all of the jobs? And an economy ravaged by war and pandemic, and an influx of black workers from the South due to war-related labor shortages, man. So these Edomites were mad as hell because Jake was doing good. All right, Jake was doing better than them. And the majority of the things that were said concerning Jake, guess what? They were made up and they were fabricated. They were lies. And these Edomites, being full of frustration, all right, they wanted to take up that pent aggression out on the children of Israel. This is from a book called 100 Years of Lynching. And this is page 118, Chicago Defender, April 5th, 1990. Negro veteran lynched for refusing to doff uniform. Which means what? To take off of his uniform. Now, I use this particular, paragraph that I'm going to go into. But there's many other crimes committed against Jake that this book mentions on from the year of 1919, which was a very bloody year for the children of Israel. Just using this as an example because the article speaks on the year 1919. But ever since that we've been here and brought to this land have been nothing but crucial and cruel unto our people, and it has not been a place of rest, even though Jake had forgot. Blakely, Georgia, April 4th, when Private Williams Little, a Negro soldier returning from the war, arrived at the railroad station here several weeks ago, he was encountered by a band of whites. The whites ordered him to doff his army uniform and walk home in his underwear. See, you see how Esau is? All right, you see how Edom is? All right, they have no regard for our lives. They don't care about us. They hate us. All right. Several other whites prevailed upon the hoodlums to leave Little alone, and he was permitted to walk home unmolested. Little continued to wear his uniform over the next few weeks, and as he had no other clothing, anonymous notes were sent him warning him not to wear his army uniform too long and advising him to leave town if he wished to sport around in khaki. Little ignored the notes. Yesterday, Private Little was found dead on the outskirts of the city, apparently beaten by a mob. He was wearing his army uniform. So this place is guilty, all right, of crimes against us, all right, in which our people are not trying to do anything but just live in peace. But we're under the curses because we have sinned against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And one of the curses says within the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and beginning at the 65th verse, all right, that our lives were going to hang in doubt. All right, that we will have no assurance of our minds, man. No assurance of our lives, and that we will have sorrow of mind. Deuteronomy 28 and 65. It says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of the eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. No matter how much you try to assimilate yourself within Esau's system, no matter how much you try to, do away with segregation and to be equal with him and to seek his ways, all right, and to dress like him and to talk like him, it doesn't matter. All right, this devil has it out for you. And that's the spirit that is inside of him. And the Most High Heavenly Father allowed Esau Edom to be a whipping stick for our people. All right. And because we sinned against our power is the only reason that this devil was allowed to, to take us within his custody and to oppress us. All right. But Esau took it further than what he was supposed to. All right. And he rejoiced at the fact that, he was able to do all of these things to us. It says within Jeremiah 50 and 7, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. So Yahweh is the habitation of our justice, which if we are in good terms and good standing with the Most High Heavenly Father, none of our adversaries can match us. None of our adversaries will be permitted to do the things that they have done unto us. But when we sin against our power, then we are given into the hands of our adversaries to spoil us. As it says right here within Judges, the 2nd chapter in the 14th verse, and the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of the spoilers, and that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Whithersoever they went out, the hand of Yahweh was against them for evil, as Yahweh had said, and as Yahweh had sworn unto them, they were greatly distressed. And as it states within the book of Psalms, it says, Yahweh have sold us for naught, and have not increased his price, because he is the one that gave us into the hands of Esau Edom to do the things that he have done unto us. But does that mean that Esau is going to go unpunished for the things that he have done? No. The Most High Heavenly Father set him up, but the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai used him to chastise us. When you go over to the book of Jeremiah, the 34th chapter, in Salaki, not Jeremiah, Job, the 34th chapter, in verse 25, it reads, it says, therefore he knoweth their works, and he overturneth them in the night, so that they are destroyed. He striketh them as wicked men in the open sight of others. And this is what have happened unto our nation. We have been struck like wicked men in the sight of others. In the sight of all of these nations, we have been chastised by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because they turned back from him and would not consider any of his ways. So this is the reason why. And you must consider this. If you're a wise man, woman in your mind, man or woman in your mind, you will understand that we did something to land ourselves within the position of this cruel punishments that are being laid upon us by the so-called white man. Even though he's not going to go unpunished, but we have to acknowledge our wrongdoings. And when we turn into our power, Yahweh through his son Yahushai, then he would turn our captivity, and he would judge this man, all right, who have done these things unto us, so that they cause the cry of the poor to come unto him, and he heareth the cry of the afflicted. All right, but the majority of our people aren't crying unto Yahweh our power, who is the habitation of our justice. Just like during the time of 1919 when these things were going on, they didn't think to call upon Yahweh. They wasn't calling upon our power. All right? They didn't even know his name at the time or the name of his son. They didn't know the truth of who they were. It says, when he giveth quietness, all right, who can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. The hypocrite reign not, lest the people be ensnared. See? So Esau couldn't be over us to whip us and to chastise us and to do the cruel things that he have done unto us, unless Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has allowed him to. So therefore you should be fearing Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and you should be saying this within yourself. Verse 31, surely it is meet to be said unto Yahweh, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend anymore. See? I will not offend anymore. And this is the sentiment that we share at this moment, because we understand why this man who is reputed as nothing, all right, who is vile, who is the lowest and basest individual upon the planet Earth, or individuals, nation, have begun to be rulers over us and to be exalted in the earth and to have the authority into rulership over the earth. All right, who is able to set this kind of individual up that he may rule? It tells you within the book of Daniel, the 4th chapter in the 17th verse, which reads, it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of man. So Yahweh, our power, is the one that rules upon the planet Earth, and he sets up over it the basis of men. And at this moment he have set up the basis and the vilest man upon the planet Earth, which is who? Esau, Edom, Job 30:8. They were children of fools, yet children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Now this is speaking of Esau, who was chased away from people as a thief, all right, who went and dwelt in the clefts of the rocks, who brayed and ate like animals and ate juniper roots. But they came up out of those mountains and were able to rule over the people, and eventually established the Greek Empire, which was translated into Roman Empire, which fell for 1,000 years but came back into power, and now is ruling over the whole planet Earth. All right, they started from the bottom, and now they have been elevated to a position of being rulers and kings over the earth. And being rulers and kings, not having wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and ruling with that vile spirit, or ruling with that vile mind and that low base understanding, look at how much they have corrupted. And they have used and abused their position and power and authority in the earth as an opportunity to try to devour and destroy the children of Israel, because they are jealous of the birthright in which we have received from the Most High Heavenly Father. Jeremiah, the 35th chapter, and I'm going to read this within the New Living Translation, all right, because I like the way that they translated this. All right, so now we are crying out, for oppression. Us being in the know, we are crying out unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. But you have the people of our nation that are not in the know, all right, who doesn't have the light, who doesn't have the Holy Spirit, who are crying out to their oppressors. Instead of crying out to Yahweh, they're crying out to the oppressors and asking them for pardon, asking them for forgiveness, asking them to repent, asking them, for equality, in which you're never going to get it. Like that song go, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. All right, if you're waiting on Esau to give it to you, it's the Most High Heavenly Father who is going to raise up, all right, who is going to raise up his son, and who's going to liberate us from this devil. Job 35:9. People cry out when they are oppressed. They groan beneath the power of the mighty. So they're groaning beneath the power of Esau, Edom, who is ruling over them through a despotism, through a rigorous and cruel way of ruler. Yet they don't ask, where is my power? Where is the power? Where is power? Where is Yahweh, my creator? The one who gives songs in the night. So the majority of Jake, they're not crying out for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, they're protesting and saying, no justice, no peace. Which you're asking your adversary, which is killing you, without any remorse, which shows you he doesn't care about justice or peace. You're asking and begging him for justice and peace when his whole motive is to lead by the sword. Verse 11, where is the one who maketh us smarter than the animals and wiser than the birds of the sky? And when they cry out, Yahweh does not answer because of their pride. So you have Jake that is prideful. You got Jake that is into something called gay pride. You got Jake that is into Egyptology. You got Jake that is into all of the things and philosophies that they shouldn't be into. All right, you should be, as a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, all right, who are the true Israelites, you should be calling upon Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for help. But it is wrong to say Yahweh does not listen, because you got Jake that will fall into a sense of disparity, all right, getting discouraged and being in anguish because of the oppression. And they'll say, okay, because we were oppressed this long and Esau have been allowed to get away with things this long, all right, the Most High Heavenly Father isn't listening. You can't say that, because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai does things according to his time. And an example is this right here, Revelations, the 18th chapter. And let's see. All right, Revelation, the 18th chapter, and going down to verse 5. Well, I'll start at 4. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues, which this is the elect being delivered by way of chariots out of America, while it's being destroyed by the last plague, which is the thermonuclear destruction. For her sins have reached unto Yahweh, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. So what does that mean when it says her sins have reached up into heavens? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai does everything according to measure. So at the measured time that he appointed, he's going to throw down. So there's a certain amount of sins and iniquities and things that America, the whore, is supposed to accomplish before Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai throws her down. Hey, the book of Genesis, the 15th chapter, verse, let's see. Genesis 15 and 16. Well, I'll start at 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Now, this is speaking about ancient Egypt. It's not speaking about now. It's not speaking about America. All right. But there is a point that you can abstract from that. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Now, the point that you can abstract from that is the fact that even after 400 years, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai didn't show any mercy to the Egyptians for the affliction and oppression that they have done to his people, although it was 400 years. So the same thing applies to now, although it's been a long duration of time since our people been oppressed in this land, since going back to the 1500s. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai isn't going to show any mercy, all right, towards the men that have afflicted our people, the nation of the men that have afflicted our people. Thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and shall be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not fulfilled. So once the iniquity of the Amorites was fulfilled, that's when Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai made certain moves come into play. So Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, although he doesn't just judge a place right soon, all right, he would judge a place according to the time that he's ready to judge them. and the time of judgment for this place is coming to pass. All right, we're living during the time that America is being judged, and that's the reason why you're seeing all of these signs come to pass. I'm going back to Job, and I'm going to go back to the New Living Translation, which reads, it says, and when they cry out, Yahweh does not answer because of their pride, but it is wrong to say Yahweh doesn't listen, to say the Almighty isn't concerned. Ye say you can't see him, but he will bring justice if you will only wait. So, waiting on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he's getting ready to bring justice upon this place. All right. In this place, you see what? You see violent. You see perverting of judgment. All right. And as it states within the scriptures, because you think in your mind, because of the oppression that is going on, that Esau is the high power. All right, but there is that is higher than he, and that is the Most High Heavenly Father. So although it seems as if it's been a long time, all right, since this devil has been judged for the iniquities that he have carried out against our nation, that doesn't mean that the Most High Heavenly Father, is with them. That doesn't mean that the Most High Heavenly Father isn't going to judge them. That doesn't mean that he's pardoned. It's just a certain time that is appointed for him to be destroyed. All right, he's going to be allowed to get away with what he's doing until the Most High Heavenly Father is ready to judge him. All right, Ecclesiastes 5:8. If thou see the oppression of the poor and the violent perverting of judgment and justice in the province, marvel not at the matter. For that he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So the one that is higher than they is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which is getting ready to bring a heavy judgment upon Esau, all right, and punish him for his cruelness towards the children of Israel, for his violence towards the children of Israel, for all of the murder, all of the rape, all of the robbery, all of the bloodshed. All right, you're about to go down for that. All right, the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 6th chapter, verse 1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn, ye that be judges of the ends of the earth, give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. Because being ministers of his kingdoms, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be turned to them that be in high places. So the Most High Heavenly Father is getting ready, as it say, horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. All right, right now you have the rich elites in the high places. All right, they're the ones in the power seat and ruling over the world right now. And they're going to be judged horribly and speedily because they haven't judged right. They have oppressed and afflicted the people of the Lord. They have spoiled them. And they have said within their minds, all right, that we offend not, and that the children of Israel were given into their hands, as is stated within Jeremiah the 50th chapter, verse 7. It says, and that found them, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. But wait, what does the scripture say? The scriptures say that all you that have devoured the children of Israel, you have offended. Jeremiah 2:3. Israel was holiness unto Yahweh, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, saith Yahweh. And what is the evil that's getting ready to come upon you? All right, the chariots and the thermonuclear destruction. All right, the Most High Heavenly Father was angry with us. And as the scriptures say within the book of Zechariah 1:15, it says, but you helped forward the affliction. All right, you helped to forward the affliction, man. All right, you went further and beyond all of the cruel things that you've done all the way back from the 1500s until now. All right, you went too far, man. Zechariah 1:15, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction. So you went further and beyond what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai wanted you to go, or allowed you. Zechariah 2:8, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of mine eye, of his eye. So what does that mean? That means that you're getting ready to be spoiled. That means that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, all right, is holding all of the things that you have done unto his people against you. And there's a day of judgment. There's a day of reckoning. Jeremiah the 30th chapter and the 15th verse. The 16th verse. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And the word devour means to consume. And how did you consume us? By your sword. And you cast off all pity. You didn't show any mercy. All right, you look for opportunities. And all thine adversary, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And what does it mean to devour? Again, all right, the word there is a call. And the word for devour means to devour of oppression. All right, to devour of oppression. And oppression, what does it mean? Let's see. It says prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. The state of being subject to unjust treatment or control. And how long have we been under pressure? Under oppression. Under cruel, unjust treatment or control by the so-called white man. It's been for a long time. And they spoiled us. All right, they take our goods, they rob us, they violently take away, our merchandise, our property. Let's see. The word there for spoil is sha'ash. And it says to plunder, spoil. All right, one's plundering. All right, to violently take away property that does not belong unto them. The so-called white man is the biggest robber. He's the biggest looter. All right, he's the biggest robber. He's the biggest thief. And he constantly takes until he never has enough. So the time of your judgment is coming. The time is coming that you're going to get devoured, that you're going to be spoiled. And that all of the things that you have done unto us is going to be done unto you. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be a spoil. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So you are going to reap what you sow. And all of the things that you have done unto our people, it's getting ready to happen unto you, man. So with that, I truly hope that this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, a call Haloyim La Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Shalom.